G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm up here on the Cahill Expressway. Let me just do a 360 just to show you where I'm located. Up here on the Cahill Expressway and overlooking the beautiful jacarandas that are in full blossom at this time of year, and it's a beautiful, extraordinary spring day here in Sydney. We have the Disney cruise ship in Sydney Harbour over there at the International Passenger Terminal, and it's the first time ever that this ship has ventured to Australia. And what I'd like to do today is just to continue my tradition of taking OPE and just expressing it in my own words as best I can and sharing it with my audience and using this wonderful backdrop so that we can talk, we can think, and we can just relax just for a moment during these busy times of our lives. These jacarandas will be in full blossom, but they won't be in blossom for all that much longer, maybe another couple of weeks. So I always love coming down here and making the most of this season in our life. And what I'd like to do today is to continue along my way and to add another episode to the sub-series that I'm putting together on all that I've learned from Anthony Robbins over the years. It's a series of 365 vlogs that I'm trying to put together so that I can capture, record, and pass on all the learnings, all the morsels that have come to me via the many various books, the seminars that I've attended, and also the tape series that I've listened to over and over again over a span of 30 odd years. What I'd like to do today is focus on an element of the UPW that I recently attended, where we had a guest speaker come and talk to us and share her wonderful message. And it was a powerful presentation with some deep and some important messages that I found very, very helpful, and I'm sure that the rest of the audience did. And what I'd like to do is just take a few morsels, just take a few items from this presentation. And this guest speaker has spoken many times to many audiences throughout the world. So I think that the material that I'm sharing today is public material that has been available to audiences via the many vlogs and YouTubes that this guest speaker has put together. One of the great things about Anthony Robbins is that you get to get exposed to some of the best speakers in the world. Anthony Robbins himself is an awesome public speaker, a great motivational speaker, and he has fathered through his courses many other exemplary leaders in their field who were not shy in coming forward and sharing their wonderful stories. And today I want to just talk about an athlete, a wonderful athlete by the name of Siri Lindey, who shared her story, shared her challenges, and as I said, it was phenomenal. She captivated us all, and I'll try and just pass on just a couple of those key points as best I can. And Siri Lindey is a triathlete who said that at some point in time she couldn't even swim. So to hear somebody who was a leader in their field, a master, an exceptional athlete, who says that she became a world champion in a sport where at one point in time she couldn't even do one element of that sport. She couldn't swim, she couldn't swim fast, and she didn't have a key element in her inventory that she needed in order to become a champion at this particular sport. So for many people, wanting to become a world champion in a sport where you can't do a critical element is in of itself an impossible dream. So what Siri Lindey says is that one of the key messages to her audiences, one of the key learnings in her life, was that in order to succeed at anything in your life, you need a deep emotional reason why we must achieve something special. She talks about her childhood, her growing up, some of the challenges that she faced, and she suffocated. She was suffocated with anxiety. She had deep levels of OCD. And like most of us, like most people, got through life by pretending to be okay. And then one day she had a revelation, she had an awakening where she realized that her life was up to her and that she was the conductor of the symphony of her life. And she could be a conductor of a cacophony, or she could be the conductor of a beautiful symphony, and it's up to her. And she realized that the big problems that she had in her life was the patterns of thought that kept on ruminating and passing through her head. She focused on the wrong things. She focused on the things that were missing in her life. She focused on the things that she had no control over. She focused on what was wrong as opposed to what was right. And she decided, instead of being the victim, to once and for all be the subject, to be the victor of her life. So she's gone from being the victim to the victor. And she no longer wanted to live a tragedy. She no longer wanted to focus on the things she didn't want in life. She didn't want to live her life trying to escape, trying to get away from her life, but she wanted to live her life to the best of her ability. So what she shared with the audience was quite profound, and it's really, really powerful hearing it from an elite athlete, because all athletes at some point in time are in self-doubt, and they cause themselves their own problems through the way they think about things. Rather than accepting certain challenges and going for it, they get overwhelmed by those things. But what Siri learned was the importance of letting go. And by letting go, what happens is you become liberated. liberated from the shackles, liberated from the chains, liberated from the prison of your own creation. And Siri learnt a very valuable lesson, that in life we're all going to fail, and we're going to fail time and time again. But leaders, people who are leaders in their field, learn at a very early part of their lives that when you fail, you learn. And if you're not failing, then you're not pushing yourself hard enough to be able to learn. And when you learn, you grow. And when you grow, you become the person who you're meant to be. So once again, a powerful lesson here in the form of using failure for your growth and development. Understanding that failure is part of the process. Failure is something that you need to embrace and to use and to leverage, because it's through failure you can become the best version of who you are. And in order to progress in life, we need to celebrate the moments that are worth celebrating, and not to sit back and to be too humble. It's important, of course, to be humble, but you can become too humble. What Siri tells us here is that we have an opportunity in our lives to celebrate the wins, and to celebrate them effectively and with passion and with deep emotion. Because when you celebrate things with emotion, what happens is you create an anchor. You create something which allows you to leverage that celebration and to use it at another time of your life. So we need to learn, and we need to understand that growing is where our success is. Our growth and our development, our path in terms of who we end up becoming, is more important than the successes that we have along the way. And then Siri said that she learned how to train as if she was that person that she wanted to be. So we need to change the way we look at things, and things will change based on the way you're looking at them. As my manager when I was working at IBM, Greg Gleason, would always say, James, if you change, your whole world will change for you. And this is the message that Siri echoed to the audience. We need to change the way we look at things. We need to change the way we see things. We need to change the way we interpret things in order to have breakthroughs in our lives. The other thing that Siri taught us is something that Tony Robbins is big on, and this is a thing called proximity is power. And this is one of the challenges that a lot of people face following COVID, because a lot of people lost their proximity with their workmates, with their family, with their friends, with their community. And because humans are social in nature, we need to be with people in order to be at our very best. So we need to understand the importance and the power of being in close proximity to our family, our work peers, our bosses, our clients, and our customers. And what Siri said she did was she came to Australia, to Noosa, to be close to her coach, her new coach, who worked her harder than any other coach. And what her coach said to her, and her coach is one of those people who is hard to get on board, is hard to get time with. But he watched her in a race, and he remembered her in a race that she competed with, or she competed in when she was up in Noosa. And he said to her when she approached him, "I remember you. You were the athlete who was killing yourself to come in 29th rather than 30th in a particular race." And he said, "I liked that about you. I liked that quality about you. That quality set you apart." So sometimes it's not about finishing first. Sometimes it's all about finishing second last as opposed to last, and just showing that you have the spirit, you have that thing, that X factor about you, that you want to grow and develop and become better. I remember watching the Olympics, and Ian Thorpe was the presenter, the compere, and he talked about a thing called progression. And he said that the greatest athletes are the ones who are able to exhibit a thing called progression, where they're able to incrementally get better and better and better. They don't give up, they don't plateau, and even if they plateau, they keep on fighting to build those incremental capabilities that will get them just a little bit better. And every time you become better in an incremental way, what happens is the synergy of those incremental improvements enable you to become significantly better. You get step functions in your improvement. And this is what Siri's coach basically looked and saw about her. And he liked that ability in her, and he was brutal and savage when it came to training. And Siri would come to him and say, "I just can't do any more. I can't thrash myself anymore." And her coach's response, his brutal and honest response to Siri, was that you need to find a way. You need to show up, and you need to lean into the challenge and not to find excuses as to why you can't do it, but to do what you need to do it, to get it. Because what seems impossible really is possible, according to Siri. We need to get out of our comfort zone and to learn to love, to appreciate, and to respect yourself. And what Siri said, and this was really, really powerful. This was really, really powerful to me. Sitting in the audience there, this will sit with me and stay with me forever. And he says that in an athleticism, in the Olympics, what breaks first is not your body, but your mind. It's your mind that gives up, never your body. So what separates the brilliant athletes, the winners, the champions, is their mindset, not their body. And that in itself is really, really powerful. So we need to love ourselves first in order to love others. And to hear somebody say that, once again, is profound, because it's only when you hear somebody else say that you need to love yourself first in order to love others that you realize that in our scriptures, Jesus says the same thing, that we should love God and serve God with all our heart, mind, and soul. to glorify God as our top priority. And then we need to love our neighbour as we love ourselves. And you can only love your neighbour if you first learn to love yourself. You can't give to somebody else what is not in you initially. So we need to learn to appreciate, to embrace, to love ourselves, and only when we love ourselves first, that our cup will be overrunneth, and that we'll be able to love others as we love ourselves. So one of the key learnings from Siri is this ability, this necessity to invest in yourself and to love yourself. Love yourself first, because it's only when you love, it's only when you accept, it's only when you appreciate yourself that you can then be able to love others. And Tony Robbins also reminds us that you can only give what you have. When you cut open a lemon and squeeze a lemon, out comes lemon juice. If you cut open an orange and squeeze an orange, out comes orange juice. And you need to ask yourself the question, if somebody were to cut us, if somebody were to hurt us, what would come out of us? And the only thing that can come out of us is what we've got invested and stored inside of us. And we need to make sure that we have love stored in us, so that when we're pressured, when we're squeezed, when we're hurt, out comes love and not bitterness and hate. The other thing that Siri shared with the audience is that we need to keep on learning and we need to keep on growing. We need to make growth, personal development, our key driver in our lives, and also to learn to forgive all of those people who have hurt us, to forgive ourselves for hurting ourselves, to forgive our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, our work peers, our community, everybody else who's come into our lives and who has hurt us, to forgive them. Because by holding on to the bitterness, to the pain, is only going to accentuate your suffering. So it's through forgiveness that you learn to get on with life, and the pain and the suffering evaporates, and your backpack of challenges and issues is lightened forever onwards. And the other thing that Siri shared with the audience is to understand that rejection is a gift. Sometimes in life we need to be rejected. We need to be hurt in order to try and find out what our priorities are and what's important. We need to thank those people who hurt us. We need to forgive them, forgive ourselves, and forgiveness is for ourselves because it sets you free from those who may have hurt you. And Siri also mentions that nobody goes out of their way. Nobody gets up in the morning thinking that I'm going to go out and hurt James. I'm going to go out and hurt Siri. I'm going to go out and hurt everybody who I come into contact with. A lot of the people who are out there have got their own challenges, are trying to get through their own seasons in their lives, are trying to make sense of the world, are trying to make sense of their pain and suffering. And we need to let them and to help them and to release the pain of blame and not to blame anybody for what has happened in our lives, but to forgive them, to move on and to get on with our lives. Siri tells us about the fact that she was a lesbian and her father disowned her. She also talks about the fact that she had cancer. She had terminal cancer, which was very, very serious. And instead of breaking her, it allowed her to learn how to begin to live. She learned how to survive and to thrive. And her cancer had a less than 10% chance of survival. And she found peace. She found meaning in her suffering. She found meaning in her challenge. And she found freedom from her anxiety because she was able to shift her focus to things that will create your own certainty. We all live in a world which has tremendous uncertainty. Nothing is certain in our world, but it's up to us, each person, to create their own certainty. And the way you create your own certainty in your life is by having rituals, by getting up in the morning and having your prayer rituals, by having a breakfast ritual, by having an exercise ritual, by having a showering ritual, by doing things, by reading, by doing things on a ritualistic basis. And that gives you the perfect start to your day, because it is a ritual that you have which guarantees certainty in your life. And then you take life on in terms of what it has to give you day by day. But you try and express your own certainty along the way. Rather than giving up, you find reason to fight on, you find reason to find purpose, and you just do things in a productive way so that you get more out of each aspect of your life. So Siri reminds us that we need to change our focus. We need to shift our channel. We need to change our channel. We don't have to listen to the channel that other people have playing in their lives. We can change our channel and we can focus on the things that serve us, that help us get through the tough moments in our day and through our lives. So changing the channel is a very, very powerful message. How many times has anybody ever told you that you don't have to listen to the noise that is going on around you in your life? You can shift, you can change the channel at any time to put it to a channel of gratitude, where you can be thankful for all the things that are going well in your life. You don't have to focus on all the crap. You don't have to focus on all the shit that is happening around you, but you can choose to focus on the beautiful jacaranda blossoms. You can focus on the harbour bridge, on the opera house, on the Disney ship out there, the beautiful clouds, the beautiful blue sky. You can pick where you want to focus. You don't have to focus on the stuff that other people want you to focus on. And this is where Siri talks about the power of gratitude. And scientists also tell us that with gratitude also come the health benefits, come the pleasure hormones, come all the benefits that will generate and help you live a longer and a better life. Because gratitude is the bridge from despair to hope. Despair gets you nowhere. It has no benefit to anything. in our lives. You can, switch to the channel of gratitude. And being a Christian myself, I know that one of the key cornerstones of Christianity is to be thankful, to have and express gratitude for all people, to say thank you to God for all that we have, to say thank you to all of those people in our lives for all that they give us, both positive and negative. And it's up to us to determine how we want to use those things in order to grow and develop. And the final powerful message to come from Siri is that in our lives we have choices. You can choose to stack the negatives, or you can choose to stack the positives. You can choose to stack your doubts, or you can choose to stack the proofs. It's up to you. And the more things you stack, the more impact, the more impactful it's going to be on your life. And we have to understand that our body is a gift. And you need to decide to be your champion. You need to step into your power and claim your gift. And from a Christian perspective as well, our body is a temple, is a gift. It's the temple that holds the gift of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit that we are given at our christening. The indelible, beautiful Spirit that we are given once and once only. And we need to live it. We need to protect it. We need to nurture it throughout our lives, and to understand that it is a gift. You don't earn it. Everything that comes from the church, all of the church sacraments are called gifts. And the reasons why they're called gifts is that you don't own it. You don't earn it. We are all work in progress. We are all damaged goods. We are all trying to improve ourselves, and we are all trying to perfect ourselves and become one with God eventually. But to understand that these things that the church gives us, these things that Jesus gives us, these things that God gives us are gifts that need to be appreciated, and to understand that the journey never ever ends. And according to Siri, she finishes off by saying that all she is, all we are humans having a human experience, and we need to enjoy every moment along the way and to make the most of this gift that we all have. So I think I'll leave it there. I've spoken for about 33 minutes, and I just am so happy to have been able to go to not one but 3 UPWs over the years. I attended UPW in 94 and 95, and also this year in 2023. I booked for both of my daughters to go to UPW, but my youngest daughter Artemis was preoccupied with her gift, her daughter Poppy, coming to her and Will. So I jumped on board and went to Tony Robbins, and it was another powerful experience. I thought that the UPWs that I went in 94 and 95 were great, but in 2023 it was just as powerful. There were a lot more people. Up to 9,000 people attended this seminar. It went for about 50 hours, or 4 days. It was very, very intense. And there was an audience there of people from about 69 to 70 countries throughout the world. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I just hope that I can come to you from a different place with a different message of empowerment, where I take the OPE that Anthony Robbins has been able to share with millions of people throughout the world, and to be able to complement it and supplement it, add to it with my own experiences and stories, so that we can keep the good work going, so that we can share the wonderful lessons, and that we can all get to the point where we can live, learn, and pass it on, and leave this place, leave this world, a better place than what it was when we received it. Yassas, take care, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to express myself with love, and I look forward to doing it again and again. As I mentioned, I am putting together 365 videos of all the things that I have learned from the big man, the great man, Anthony Robbins. Take care, wishing you all the best, and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.